Okay, Commissioner Capano,
Present.
Commissioner Calucci,
Present.
Commissioner Ellis,
Present.
Commissioner Prudian,
Present.
and Commissioner Trahan.
Present. Minutes of the previous meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Capano,
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci,
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis,
Yes.
Commissioner Prudian,
Yes.
and Commissioner Trahan.
Yes. Project update. Martina?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Plant flows, the plant performed as designed. The plant flows for the month of October averaged 17.73 MDD, and the rainfall was 3.91 inches. BOD and TSS loadings were well within the parameters, and so was Gorelick Farms, which they dispatched to us. That's my report.
Any questions for Bob?
Of course, huh?
Okay, thank you, Bob. Water treatment plant update. Rick?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission is in compliance with all federal and state drinking water regulations. The water supply capacity as of yesterday was at 60%. The average for this time of year is at 61%. 9 of the 10 positions at the water treatment plant are currently filled. Mark Lane retired from his position as water treatment operator on August 29th, but he remains employed part-time to assist with the operator scheduling in as the water treatment plant lab supervisor. Veolia Water is currently looking to fill the operator positions. They received 2 applications, but they're not local, so they're still, they're going to interview those 2 individuals, but they're still looking for someone closer by that would be interested in the job. In regards to the chlorine conversion at the water treatment plant, the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission received a letter from the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection on September 26th that contained technical and follow-up administrative comments pertaining to the project. Today, Weston Sampson and the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission reformulated a response to DEP that addressed all the comments. And Weston Sampson is hoping to complete the revised plans and specifications and have bid documents ready by the December meeting. And that's my report.
Any questions for Rick? Any questions for Rick? Okay, thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
CSO update. You gonna take that, Dan?
I guess myself or Anthony, we've prepared, Anthony's prepared an RFP for preliminary design for the engineering CSO job, and the deadlines and the outlines and the dates are in your package. And I believe we've received 16 vendors have taken out the document, and we look to bring back the recommendation or the information to you at the December meeting. Things are on schedule. It took Anthony 3 or 4 weeks to prepare it with Ray Anahuz's help, and things are looking pretty good.
Thanks.
Okay. Any questions for Danny at Anthony? So what's the wish of the board?
Just one question. Did, I don't know if it was asked or if they had mentioned any problem making the deadline in July.
Most of the firms talked to Anthony. I think a few of them did express some concern, but Anthony can speak on that matter, I think.
Yeah, a few of the firms that I spoke to thought the deadline would be difficult to make. They realize it's a lot of work. And being familiar with the city, some of the firms aren't, and some are, so I think there's an advantage if you're familiar with the city and the demographics in the area. So, but you know, that's what they do, and they'll give a proposal, and I'm sure that they have to put extra time in doing it. They'll do it. But I did a few, I would say 3 or 4 firms expressed that to me when they called me. Yeah.
And the estimate is $850,000 for the first phase of the RFP that we have. And there's a lot of groundwork with surveying and borings and aerial photography. And with the winter approaching, it's going to be difficult, but they should be able to get it done.
Mm-hmm. We've done some of the work, right? Have we?
The preliminary design work?
Yeah.
No.
No. So none of the work that we've done so far would apply to anything they're doing.
Well, I mean, the facilities plan and the notice of project change that we submitted on behalf of Tony O'Bono's old firm, CH2M Hill, that's provided to the vendors. So that's going to be valuable information that the vendor can read and sort of update themselves on the situation. But as far as surveying, aerial photography, and borings, I mean, there's going to be 1,250 vertical feet of borings. So there's going to be 1,250 holes in the ground with, investigating utilities, soils, corrosion. So that's part of the deal. And then they're going to survey 8 miles of area, 8+ miles of area, and aerial photography over the area. So they're going to put together plans and specifications so that come July of 19, we'll have construction drawings for 40 some odd million, or whatever the number is, $1 million worth of construction work. So this is just the first deadline, the first phase.
Have somebody add Anthony?
Yeah, I just want to clarify, so all the previous technical memos that were developed using Outflow 02, and some of the environmental impacts from global warming and so forth, those documents, they were all included. I think they were, part of the RFP was I think 11 attachments. So all the information that we've gathered over the last couple of years, is the question you asked, they're all included, so that information is all provided to them.
Okay.
So they have that in the package, so it's certainly a well detailed scope for them to, and with a lot of information that we've acquired.
Any other questions for Anthony or Dave? Go ahead, Dave.
As part of the consent decree, we also had a petition from residents, and then part of that, they requested that there be an emergency response plan like Boston has put into place. We've been under those requirements for quite a while. There's not a deadline on doing it, but that's something that should have been done right away. It would have helped a lot during the big flood events we had. If we had that plan in place, coordinating with emergency responses around the city, what that would look like, having the resources to do it, coordination between police, fire, etc. And had people out in the field blocking streets, putting up signage, educating the community, and bringing together all the information on what areas flooded, how bad it was, and on our website having it updated as part of that plan so people could make easy application instead of the meeting that we did have that the mayor and 2 councilors took part in to try to do that work that we're required to do. So, and that's also part of the emergency response plan that Boston has in place that CMH2 Hill put together. So that's something that we should start working on right away, because spring's coming. And I think that some of the flooding, I think everybody would agree, it's 4 inches of rain and the downfalls that we have had is unbelievable to have take place. But the damage that was done, I think we could have met the thresholds to get designated, but we didn't have a plan in place to collect the data and to assist people in making an application. I want to thank the city councilors, one of them, Peter Cabano, that's here tonight, that was at that meeting for the residents and the ratepayers, and Mayor Kennedy that worked to try to put that meeting together. But I think in the future we can do a better job of that. That's our work, and we should be able to coordinate that.
Yeah, we do have an emergency response plan. It's part of our CMOM package. Larry's the superintendent of the sewer department. He was issued all the appropriate documents. I believe he implements it to his best of his ability. we got and I certainly agree with you, and I sympathize with the flooding event, but we got 2.55 inches of rain over from 5:54 a.m. to 6:54 a.m. So we got in excess of 2.5 inches of rain over 1 hour. That equates to a 100-year storm event during that 1 hour period. So it was a very tough rain event. Plus the mean high tide was 7.8. And the high tide was at 7:45 a.m. So you coincided a high tide with 2.55 inches of rain over an hour. It made it very difficult for the systems to handle it. Now, Bennett and commercial floods, 100% yes, that flooded. Monroe Street flooded. That's tied into the Washington Street drain. It's a 72-inch outfall that increases up to a 54-inch as you go through Central Square. And with the leaves and the time of the season and the high tide and the amount of rain, the water just couldn't get in the system. I'm pretty sure that's what Larry will tell you. In Monroe and some of the areas there flooded. Boston Street flooded again. Strawberry Brook discharges to the Saugus River, and that's hydraulically impacted. If you get a high tide and 2.5 inches of rain, unfortunately sometimes it's going to flood. So those are the main areas. Bennett and commercial, absolutely. Boston Street was bad, and Washington Street, some of the areas downtown were very bad. But when the tide left, I was out there like 10, 20, and the water receded pretty quickly. But you just
Go ahead, Peter.
You're right. I noticed that, and other people had said that. And it sounds silly maybe, but it was almost like somebody pulled a plug and all the water just drained right away.
Right.
It was unbelievable. What is that? Why is that?
Well, again, I think we coincided a high tide at 7:54. We got 2.5 inches of rain over an hour, and you have the leaves and the debris and the sidewalks and the clogging the catch basins. So all those cause the water to not discharge as quickly as it normally would.
No,
You
I
think of your
understand.
pool, if you have a discharge that doesn't have a head on it and the water can just flow out, the water gets out rapidly. Now all of a sudden, if you have some restriction against the outfall, the water doesn't get out as quick. So if the water's trying to get out of the system and it's fighting a tide, it doesn't get out.
No, I
If the
get
tide's
that.
here, it flows out very nice. So it's unfortunate. That's sort of the timing of what
So you
happened.
think the tide went down and then everything just drained, right? It was like unbelievable. It just really quick. Everything
right.
just drained.
All right, but
But the thing is this, I understand, yeah, there's a mechanics to it, but for the people that live out there, they're not interested in the mechanics of it. They want the safety that's in one of those plants. They want to know, like the person that told me, I drove down Alley Street, Dave, and then I got halfway down, there was only a little water, and the next thing I know, it was up the glove compartment. I couldn't open the doors to get out. I didn't know who to call, and I tried calling police, fire, couldn't get through, and he was trapped in his vehicle. So we need to have plans for that stuff. Boston has signage on those streets that says if you see water on this street, do not drive down it. But that's all part of the plan. You can go on, you can view Boston's plan, that the person that we have for our engineer record, that firm put that together. It's a requirement of the consent decree. It was agreed to by the parties that that plan be put in place like Boston has. So we should start to work on that so that these people can go on, have a way right on the website to make application instead of us trying to hand out pieces of paper at a meeting and hope it gets out to all the ratepayers. So I think that's something that we can do better for. And it's something the residents said they wanted. So we have to start to work on that. Spring is coming. It will flood again. It floods multiple times a year with great intensity. Yeah, that was one of the bigger ones we've seen, except for the ones that went on for a week or so. He passed.
Any other questions for Danny or Anthony? So wish of the board.
Motion adjourned.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.